Welcome back. Last week we focused on the massive Morganza to the Gulf Hurricane Protection System, including the importance of levee heights and alignment, and having strong local and state leaders who understand what's at stake for our coast and our communities.
And we're joined today by some of those voices making a real impact. You'll hear from Mitch Mormont, Gordy Dove, Tony Alford, Angela Hidalgo, and Nick Mathern.
Along with Corey Keep, who shares how Crosby Tugs continues to support jobs, families, and our working coast.
It's a powerful lineup, and it shows what can happen when leadership pulls together.
Stick around. We'll be back with more.
Louisiana and Beyond is brought to you in part by Edison Schwest Offshore, Bollinger Shipyards, Crosby Tugs LLC, Grand Isle Shipyard, Nichols State University, and Sea Level Construction.
Welcome to Bollinger Shipyards. For nearly a century, our family of skilled shipbuilders has driven innovation and excellence, creating some of the world's most advanced vessels. Today, we are at the forefront of our industry and redefining the future of naval warfare. At Bollinger, we turn challenges into opportunities and careers into legacies. Here, you're part of something bigger. Any yard can build a ship. We don't just build ships. Together, we're building the future.
Sea Level Construction is a heavy civil contractor that provides turnkey services for the industrial and marine industries. From building large-scale infrastructure to installing the foundation for expansion projects, Sea Level and its family of companies offer a wide range of capabilities including driven piles, drill deep foundations, structural fabrication, structural concrete, marine construction, barge maintenance and repair, site work development, heavy equipment repair services, and electrical services. Call Sea Level Construction to set the foundations for your next big project.
Edison Schwest Offshore is more than a fleet. We're an interconnected network of vessels, logistics hubs, and a fast-growing workforce of over 19,000 dedicated professionals across the globe. From the United States to Brazil and the Middle East to Southeast Asia, Schwest provides cutting-edge solutions to a worldwide community. And in the face of evolving demands across the industry, we are committed to operating as the best in the world.
When it comes to marine towing, Crosby Tugs has over 40 years of experience. We have the know-how to safely assist ships into and out of their berths, escort oil tankers quickly and safely, tow ships, respond to fuel spills, and work in extreme conditions. Founded in 1977 by Vinton and Kurt Crosby, we are one of the largest privately owned marine transportation businesses in the industry. If it's on the water, let Crosby be your transporter.
At GIS, putting people first has always been our thing. As we always say, our people are our most important assets. With over 20 office locations, we deliver innovative solutions across 4 key markets: energy, industrial, infrastructure, and power. Our 4 main service groups house over 20 service capabilities, supporting projects from start to finish. We're proud of our legacy and even more excited about what's ahead.
Progress only happens when local and state leaders are truly on our side.
And today we hear from some of those leaders who make it happen on the ground. Mitch Mormont, Gordy Dove, Tony Alford, Angela Hidalgo, and Nick Mathern.
And they'll share how cooperation between parish officials, engineers, and agencies are driving levees higher, gates stronger, and projects moving faster than ever before.
It's a unique time. We have a governor who's extremely supportive. We have a chairman of the Coastal Restoration Authority who's from here. We have the person we call General Patton, who's an advisor to the governor, Mr. Alford, running the show around here and really pushing each and every one of us to move forward. And we have a colonel who was born and raised in Houma, raised most of his life in Houma. He did move away for some period of time, but it's an exciting time to be in my position, where all we've done is fight all these roadblocks and hurdles for the last 20 years. We're actually getting some help over those roadblocks now. So
I've often called Tony the George Patton of the levee business. He is getting his takes into Germany, okay? Tony has been the push. I can't say enough about Tony. When we go to the court, you gotta have someone who's really gonna tell it like it is. And you need to tell him. And they know when Tony's and Tony makes all the calls to Washington and Vicksburg, and he doesn't get paid a nickel. He won't even accept his per diem. But he has been, for 22 years, the driving force of the Morganza to the Gulf. And now he's going to be the driving force of the land bridge, and they're also doing Wine Island because they're conservation districts. But I can't say enough about Tony. Tony has been, now I push pretty good too myself. And so did Reggie, and so did Angela, and so did others. Norby was pretty good at it, very good at it. And but you know, you got to push the core, but push them, but be gentle, because you really, it's like anything else. You got to negotiate it.
I always say this too. It's a short distance from the penthouse to the outhouse. So we have to perform. So we have great opportunity for Terrebonne and Lafourche and the whole coast. And that's the frame of mind I have now. We still got Morganza going. We still have, you know, the Barry Islands along the coast. But now you have to have a wider view in that, you know, we're trying to save and protect the entire Louisiana coast. And so that's what we're doing. We're making sure to spread around the money that's available and put work on the ground as soon as possible. We've got some great opportunities, you know, but we can't blow it either. We can't rest on you know what we've done. Right. We have to continue to be creative and do what we've done here for the rest of the coast and continue here.
You can't build it all at once. You have to build it in sections, which we call reaches. So reach J, segment 1, was the first segment, right? J1. So we built that one first, and we built it in 2006, and that was right after Katrina in New Orleans. So there was a sense of urgency at the Corps level, and we had this one little levee section built that was just to 8 feet. I mean, it was a football field wide, looked great from space, didn't do a whole lot for Terrebonne Parish, right? So we were just like, well, I mean, here we are. And then, you know, right after Rita hit New Orleans, we built this one little section, and that wasn't enough. And then 3 years later, we had the Gustav and Ike era. You know, that was in 2008. And I mean, we were flooded again. We spent $2 million dewatering the parish. If you can even imagine how difficult it is to remove water, to unwater a parish. So right where like the east side of Houma, right once you pass Consolidated Waterworks, from there south, water, flooded, could not drive your car. It was devastating. People were crying. They're in their yards just ripping out their house. It just wants to rip out your heart, you know what I mean? So at that point, we were like, you know, enough's enough. We've got money in the bank a little bit. You know, we had recently passed a sales tax. The voters passed a sales tax here in Terrebonne. It was a 1/4 cent sales tax that the parish collects for us. And we were gonna take that money, and I mean, this is my wheelhouse, right? It's creative financing. It's what I do, it's what I was hired to do. And we were like, you know, we're gonna sell revenue bonds on this sales tax, and we're gonna go build the Bubba Dove floodgate. The first thing we did after that one levee reach was built. So we bonded it out. It was the largest bond issue in Terrebonne Parish at the time, $50 million, and we built this massive structure in the lock, in the HNC, the ship channel, which is now being converted to a lock. So I mean, this was major for us. And then after that, we were like, you know, we're actually making a difference. So we passed another tax. In 2011, we passed another tax, and it was a 1/2 cent tax. And that, we again sold revenue bonds on that. It gave us $100 million. So we took that $100 million and we put it on the ground, segment by segment, reach by reach, lift by lift. And my board did not, Tony Alford is the one credited with most of this, and Gordy Dove, they did not stop until we had some level of protection on the ground, because without flood protection, nothing else matters.
And so in more recent years, we've made a very concerted effort to be more involved in ensuring the regional cooperation that leads to success of that project getting underway. Obviously, when we talk about projects like Reaches K and L, in the Morganza project, they are under our jurisdiction, more directly affect and benefit more of Terrebonne Parish. And so Terrebonne has been very proud and very successful in taking the lead on getting those projects funded and constructed. And we've now been much more involved in aiding that effort, in providing not only verbal support, but our own resources, our own employees to help maintain, especially portions of Reach L, when that project is completed and online. our personnel with the South Lafourche Levee District are going to maintain that section of the levee, cutting grass and monitoring the structures along there. And so we're doing a great job regionally of cooperating between Terrebonne and Levee District, South Lafourche Levee District, and North Lafourche Levee District.
Edison Schwest Offshore is more than a fleet. We're an interconnected network of vessels, logistics hubs, and a fast-growing workforce of over 19,000 dedicated professionals across the globe. From the United States to Brazil and the Middle East to Southeast Asia, Schwest provides cutting-edge solutions to a worldwide community. And in the face of evolving demands across the industry, we are committed to operating as the best in the world.
In a world where you can choose to be anything, who do you choose to be? At Nicholls State University, with over 70 distinct degree programs, we believe our students can be anything. Be an artist, a chef, a journalist, an educator, a lifesaver. But no matter what you choose to be a colonel. Be more at Nicholls State University.
At GIS, putting people first has always been our thing. As we always say, our people are our most important assets. With over 20 office locations, we deliver innovative solutions across 4 key markets: energy, industrial, infrastructure, and power. Our 4 main service groups house over 20 service capabilities, supporting projects from start to finish. We're proud of our legacy and even more excited about what's ahead.
Welcome to Bollinger Shipyards. For nearly a century, our family of skilled shipbuilders has driven innovation and excellence, creating some of the world's most advanced vessels. Today, we are at the forefront of our industry and redefining the future of naval warfare. At Bollinger, we turn challenges into opportunities and careers into legacies. Here, you're part of something bigger. Any yard can build a ship. We don't just build ships. Together, we're building the future.
When it comes to marine towing, Crosby Tugs has over 40 years of experience. We have the know-how to safely assist ships into and out of their berths, escort oil tankers quickly and safely, tow ships, respond to fuel spills, and work in extreme conditions. Founded in 1977 by Vinton and Kurt Crosby, we are one of the largest privately owned marine transportation businesses in the industry. If it's on the water, let Crosby be your transporter.
Now let's hear from one of the key players keeping South Louisiana moving, Crosby Tugs.
And we're joined by Corey Keefe, who gives us a look at how this locally grown company supports everything from shipping and logistics to construction along our waterways.
And they're not just moving vessels, they're moving progress, making sure people, equipment, and materials reach the places that matter most.
And this is just the beginning. Corey takes us inside the history, the growth, and the innovation that make Crosby Tugs a cornerstone of the region's maritime industry.
Crosby Tugs was formed, I think, in 78 or 79, 1978, 1979, about that time. And it was formed by Mr. Vinton Crosby. And he bought one tugboat. And shortly after that, his son, Kurt Crosby, joined the company. There's a story behind Kurt. You know, Kurt was at Nicholls playing, Kurt was going to Nicholls to play basketball, but and get an education, but he didn't. That wasn't his path, so he ended up going into business with his dad. They bought a second tug. Before you know it, they're getting another boat or two here and there, and they started to grow and grow and grow to the point of where now, it's a 140 to 150 tugboat outfit. Now we don't have all of those operating, but the point is that's what it's turned into. And I tell people this all the time. I've been with Crosby now for 13 years, and I have 49 years in this now, so my previous 36 years was a real good gig, and achieved a lot of success and all, which kind of what brought me to Crosby's doorstep, I guess, is he and I talking through the years. We were fierce competitors at one time. But this is like being on tour with the Rolling Stones all the time,
You know, the tugboat company ended up getting diversity, which started, I guess, about 10 years ago with the acquisition of the dredge division and buying dredges and building that up. And then then Crosby invested into a company called Bertucci, and they took that company and merged it with a company called Lure Brothers out of Illinois. And now Lure Crosby is one of the largest outfits in the country that can harvest, deliver, and install rock. Okay? So the diversity, I was very fortunate to be here to live through that and to be part of the thought process and now to be part of the management process. You know, and you know, it's tough. It's got its challenges, don't get me wrong. It's not all lollipops and unicorns. It's not that. But I got to admire him for taking the courage to take those steps and taking on those risks. And what that means is employing more people here. But we have people from all over the country that work for us, even people from outside the country that work for us. We have a division in Mexico. We own another company there too, another tugboat company there. So we have that piece of diversity as well. We have an environmental company in Alabama that disposes of all fuel waste and things of that nature. And so when you look at all these things, you know, it's risky. That's why you'll never catch one of us sitting at a casino. You know, I think we get up and gamble all day long. We don't need to go to Harrah's.
Corey Keefe's story really shows the resilience and vision it takes to keep a company thriving in South Louisiana and that competitive marine industry.
And from a single tugboat to a diverse fleet, Crosby Tugs has not only survived, it's grown, investing in people, equipment, and capabilities that keep the region moving.
And I could read you a list of companies that have gone out of business in the last 10 years. And what's given us the gumption to remain where we are is that we have the inventory. You know, we have the fleet, you know, and we could compete on a level that way. There's a lot of small operators out there that we compete with on a day-to-day basis, and believe you me, they're staunch competition. They're not just going to lay down and let us run over them. That's not how it works. We got to compete with everyone. It's fair competition. But we have an inventory, you know, and that's what I said. It's like touring with the Rolling Stones. There's always somewhere to play music, you know, and we could work on this today and that tomorrow and that another week and then put them all together in one big pile of stuff. And, you know, imagine yourself as a child going to Disney World, and to be an adult in a Disney World like I am now, but it's not funny like Disney World, you know. And I love being in this environment. I'm so happy that we're all the employees here are provided a place where we could do these things, and that's what's kept us where we are. The diversity and the continued investment into the fleet. We have a big fleet, you know, and so we have a lot of soldiers in the Army, let's put it that way.
Corey Keefe's insight really highlights what makes Crosby Tugs successful: strong leadership, trust in their teams, and the freedom to get the job done.
And it's that cohesion and shared responsibility that keeps them moving, even as projects grow bigger and more complex across South Louisiana's waterways.
With leadership that understands the business, invests in people, and supports innovation, employees know they can perform at their best.
And that commitment, not just to work, but to each other, is what keeps Crosby Tugs productive, competitive, and a true backbone of our coast.
He really has given us the latitude to be able to function at doing what we're doing, and expects for us to be able to be involved and expects us to be productive. And I think that you could see with all the stuff being built around us right now that we're not letting them down. So, or letting the people down, or letting anybody down. I think that the good thing about the cohesiveness of the business over here, I was president of the South Central Industrial Association as well. You know, we did all these things because all these things are just so doggone important. And I have a boss and an owner who understands these things.
When it comes to marine towing, Crosby Tugs has over 40 years of experience. We have the know-how to safely assist ships into and out of their berths, escort oil tankers quickly and safely, tow ships, respond to fuel spills, and work in extreme conditions. Founded in 1977 by Vinton and Kurt Crosby, we are one of the largest privately owned marine transportation businesses in the industry. If it's on the water, let Crosby be your transporter.
Sea Level Construction is a heavy civil contractor that provides turnkey services for the industrial and marine industries. From building large-scale infrastructure to installing the foundation for expansion projects, Sea Level and its family of companies offer a wide range of capabilities including driven piles, drill deep foundations, structural fabrication, structural concrete, marine construction, barge maintenance and repair, site work development, heavy equipment repair services, and electrical services. Call Sea Level Construction to set the foundations for your next big project.
Edison Schwest Offshore is more than a fleet. We're an interconnected network of vessels, logistics hubs, and a fast-growing workforce of over 19,000 dedicated professionals across the globe. From the United States to Brazil and the Middle East to Southeast Asia, Schwest provides cutting-edge solutions to a worldwide community. And in the face of evolving demands across the industry, we are committed to operating as the best in the world.
At GIS, putting people first has always been our thing. As we always say, our people are our most important assets. With over 20 office locations, we deliver innovative solutions across 4 key markets: energy, industrial, infrastructure, and power. Our 4 main service groups house over 20 service capabilities, supporting projects from start to finish. We're proud of our legacy and even more excited about what's ahead.
Welcome to Bollinger Shipyards. For nearly a century, our family of skilled shipbuilders has driven innovation and excellence, creating some of the world's most advanced vessels. Today, we are at the forefront of our industry and redefining the future of naval warfare. At Bollinger, we turn challenges into opportunities and careers into legacies. Here, you're part of something bigger. Any yard can build a ship. We don't just build ships. Together, we're building the future.
When it comes to protecting our communities, the Morganza to the Gulf project is a masterclass in planning and precision. From levee heights to floodgate placement, every detail matters.
And we're seeing how careful design and solid construction make a real difference, especially when storms hit hard and fast.
With almost 100 miles of levees, multiple floodgates, and water control structures, local engineers and crews are keeping our waterways safe while minimizing environmental impact.
So I like to break it down in, I guess three different segments, right? Our southeastern facing alignment, which is really from Lafourche down around Cocodrie, and even up towards the H&C lock, we wanted to have that to 15 feet, okay? And so we got really aggressive about pushing that to 15 feet. We don't have all of it to 15 feet today. I would say on average that thing's probably 13 and a half feet now, but a good portion of it is to 15 feet. I think by next hurricane season we'll have most of that to 15 feet. As we get on the wings, there's another intermediate level where we want it to 12 feet right now. And I'm talking about, that's our immediate goal. That's not the final goal. And then as you get further up, towards Lockport and then Gibson, it doesn't need to be as high, so maybe 10 feet. So on average, I would say we're probably around 12 feet, but that includes some that's below 10 feet and some that's 15 feet or higher. So our southern, we're in better shape on the southeastern facing part of Morganza than we ever have been, but we're not finished. This is a constant work. And look, that's not even close to what the final elevations that the Corps is going to achieve.
We saw we had to get this thing up to 15 feet because we could get an eye to our west, and get look, hats off to the South Lafourche levee. They were up to 18 feet, so they could take that wall of water. When they clocked 190 knots coming into Fouchon, which is 223 miles an hour. We were clocking on a yellowfin marine vessel, which is an ocean-going vessel. We were clocking 180 miles an hour from the north in the Terrebonne. Of course, you know it pushed the water against the floodgate, and we learned you need gates to allow the water out. Now, on a Homer navigation canal, with the way that floodgate was designed, we didn't put them because we would have the lock system where you could just open the lock system, which is 110 foot between the wing walls, 800 feet long, and you could just let the water flow out.
And so we made, compacted, solid levees with the right slopes and made sure that they're solid levees, and you've seen the impact of those levees and what they've done. We built over 80 miles. We've got over 13 floodgates in place right now. And, we had a nice team to be able to design, O'Neill, and he was able to come in and design those floodgates. Sector gates are the best gates. They're easy to operate, 5 times the cost of a barge gate. So we knew to enact safety and be able to close our system, we had to do something a little less than those sector gates. And so we came up with barge gates. Hard to operate, takes some time. I mean, it's a lot, but they work. And of course, we even put flap gates going through those barges should it rain a lot in the system to be able to spill out in the process while they're closed.
Our system in South Lafourche was designed strictly for flood protection of our communities. As the Morganza to the Gulf project has progressed, the focus has largely been on flood protection, but also because of how large the project is, how many environmental impacts were known at the time, the foresight was had to ensure that we have minimal environmental impacts and maximum benefits where we could achieve those.
The Morganza system has already been put to the test with Hurricanes Ida and Francine that could have caused serious flooding. The levees held, and the floodgates did their job.
Science and engineering make a difference, but maintenance matters too. Good grass, solid slopes, and constant care keep these structures resilient.
For a storm to come in that direction, it could have been the worst direction of a. So it proved that we've done something very positive and saved a bunch of damage in our areas. And I think that if we continue that process on just getting the heights we need, we won't come to such a close call as that was. Just look at science. I mean, if you get water running over one spot for a long period of time, it just cuts it down, and all of a sudden you get a wider gap and a wider gap and a wider gap. So luckily that system held up enough from the erosion of the water overtopping it. That's another thing about maintaining it, keeping good grass, making sure it's maintained. If it had been fresh dirt, we might not have been as lucky.
From Morganza to the Gulf, we've seen firsthand how local and state leaders, dedicated engineers, and companies like Crosby Tugs come together to protect our coast.
Absolutely, Martin, and it's about strong partnerships, careful planning, and continuous work. From levees to floodgates, every piece matters for our community safety.
The progress we're making shows just how effective collaboration and commitment can be in keeping Louisiana safe.
And next week, we'll explore the linchpin of the Morganza system, the $330 million Homer Navigation Canal Lock Complex, and see how it plays a key role in limiting saltwater intrusion.
Louisiana and Beyond has been brought to you in part by Edison Schwest Offshore, Bollinger Shipyards, Crosby Tugs, LLC, Grand Isle Shipyard, Nicholls State University, and Sea Level Construction.